Hi, this is Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I have an angel ornament to show you. Now the one I'm doing today is actually smaller than this. My daughter requested the larger size, and let me show you these cookie cutters. They're vintage. This is the one I used today. This is the one I used for my daughter. I prefer this one. She wanted the big one. And I got these online, and here's one that I purchased to have a spare. And I got these on eBay several years ago, and it's just a vintage card, and you can see that angel is right there on the card. These are easy to find. I found more than one available, and that's also when I found the bigger one. So these are available online, but I think I'm going to find a way to start maybe making some of my cutouts available to anybody that really wants a particular shape I'm doing but doesn't need the kit. They just want the felt cutouts. I'm going to see what I can do in the next few weeks to make that available to you. But this is the angel that I stamped, and the one I'm going to show you today. So I've got several colors here that I'm working on today. I've got this blue one. I've got this pale pink one. I've got this lavender one. And then I've got a gold one. This one I actually started years ago, and I pulled the edging off that I had done and redid it in this pink. So let me show you each step, and we're going to start with the beadwork, getting started. And this time I thought I'd show you a couple different ways that they look depending on the seed bead that you put on there. Now you can start anywhere you want. Now you can also, if you'd like, do a different sequin on the crown. Now I did that on this one. I don't know if you can see, I put a little silver on there. But on most of them, and I think I did on this one too, I put a little silver on this one. I don't know if you can see that. And this one is for a friend. She requested gold. And I actually did gold beads around the crown as well. This one, I just did the whole thing in one color. And this one, I did the wings in a different color. So you can do them any way you want. I traditionally do them all one color, but I've just started doing the crowns a little bit different. But I wanted to show you how it makes a difference what color seed bead you use. And I thought that might be kind of a fun change up this time. Now this time I'm using a pink sequin. And this is called Pink Passion. I got it from Cartwright's. Let me see if I can get that up where you can see it. I don't know if the camera's catching that. But it's Cartwright's sequins. Yeah, I think it's getting it. And this is Pink Passion Crystal Opaque 5mm. Now, on these little angels, I do like a 5mm because they have very dainty wingtips. Now on this bigger one, you could do a 6 and it would probably be okay. But I prefer 5mm for these. So I picked this Pink Passion. I believe it's still available, but if it's not, they've got to have something very close. And then I picked this Toho bead called Ceylon Cotton Candy that I got from a company called Lima Beads. Now, I don't know if this is available, but this is a very common color. It's just a bright pink. So a nice bright, and they go together pretty well. So I wanted to show you what it would be like if I took, now remember when you put the sequin on, if that's the first time watching, you might not know this. You want to put the sequin upside down. I use cupped sequins. So they're literally a little cup like this. And I turn it upside down when I pick it up, so that when I pull it onto the string, it's up. Then I'm going to take one of those cotton candy seed beads and put that on there on top. Then I pull it down till it's flat on the felt, and then you can take and kind of move it slightly if you don't like where it's at, and then push it through. Do not go back through the seed bead. If you notice, I'm just going through the sequin. And you pull it tight, and that little seed bead is what holds it on. Now normally I'd be placing them a little more strategically, but this is just to show you. And since I'm not going to match these, I'll probably be tearing this out. But I thought it was important to show you what a couple different looks look like. Now here again, I'm going to pick up the sequin upside down, but I'm going to use a clear seed bead. And I want to show you the difference in that look. Now, when you do put them together, you want to push them up against each other as best you can. And kind of hold it with the needle and then go through the hole. This takes practice. You'll get good at it as you do it. Now, there's the difference. I don't know if the camera picks it up between the cotton candy and the clear. Now I'm going to show you with white. And again, I'm going to put the sequin upside down. And I'm going to pick up a white, kind of a pearl white, and show you how that looks. And again, push it up. Now normally you'd go a little closer to the edge than this, but I'm just trying to show you the colors. And again, do not put the seed bead, to go through the seed bead. Now, this is to show you, and I hope the camera is picking it up. Try to get as close as I can. That, you know, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it does. When you do a whole piece, and let me show you a couple examples. This is clear. I used a clear seed bead with a sequin called Mermaid Green over a bright green felt. And that is the image you get. It kind of disappears a little bit. This one, I used the pearl. And oh, actually, no. I actually used the clear on this one, too. If you look, I used a very transparent sequin. It's called Pale Pink over a very pale pink felt. And then I used the same color in a satin finish for the wings. And that is also the clear. Now, on the cobalt blue one, I actually used a cobalt blue clear. So it's a clear bead in that it's not opaque. It does let light through, but it was cobalt blue or royal blue, whatever you like to call it. And it matched really well. This one, I used gold, silver lined gold beads over the gold sequins. And it gives it a really nice uniform. Now, on a metallic, like gold or silver, I don't think I'd use a clear. I haven't been happy with that. I would use either a silver lined silver with the silver and a gold line, either gold lined or silver lined gold on the gold. I think you'd be happiest. But you just keep doing that. And if you want to be more proper, let me show you on the other side. You could go way over on the corner and start. And this is just to show you a little bit more accurately. And again, cup side up. And then to start it out, I would pull it way over to the corner, like that. And then make sure it's nice and secure. And then I tend to go down along an edge. I'm either going to start up at the head, and many times I'll start at the halo, work my way down, and then go up one wing, and then come down and go up with the other wing. But sometimes I start at the bottom as well. So it's just whatever appeals to you. If you like to look like you're getting more done fast, going from the head kind of gives you that illusion that you're getting more done because it's a small area. But if that doesn't matter to you, you can just go along the bottom even. And see, I just push it as close as I can. Sometimes as far as hitting the thread for this one, and sometimes I won't go quite that tight. You know, when you do this, you're never going to be perfect. I've been doing this 30 years, and I'll still have a sequin that I put too far from the other one. It's just how it goes. I don't rip it out unless it's really bad. And if you catch it right away, it's real easy to just take the thread off the needle and then take your needle that's now not on the thread and just kind of catch it, and you can or you can even just grab the seed bead and pull it like that. As long as the needle's not attached, it'll come right out. And you can do that 2 or 3 in a row. So it's very easy to fix unless you've done too much. And then what I do if I make a mistake is I'll go and I'll fit one in there. Like I'll go up in between the rows like this. And I'll add one sequin in between. Real easy to fix. So now once you've got the whole front done the way you want it, you're going to want to stitch it together. And so you're going to take, oh Lord, I thought I had a thread already made for you guys. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. I didn't. I apologize. Let me just tie a knot like that. I just tie a nice tight knot. And sometimes I go pretty big on the knot. And, you know, you want it thick enough that it's not going... Oh, and one thing I forgot to tell you. I totally forgot, and I didn't even do it, and I normally do. Before I do my first sequin, I come up, and I go back down, and I come back up. And that just kind of secures it, because this felt from Hobby Lobby is very fine, much better quality. But some felts you have, especially some not real vintage ones, but the like 10, 15 years, they can be very, very open, the weave. And even this good felt, you can see through it pretty good. You can see the light come through that, and the thread can pull right through. So I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you that. So I come up, I go back down, I come back up, then I start putting the sequins on. So let me put the needle on this, and that I will not be able to show you because I have to get it right up by my face to see this. These needles, let me show you these needles. Look how tiny. I don't know if you can see the eye on that needle. It is so tiny, but it's not that hard. You just got to get up close to it. So I'm going to sit down for a minute and get that needle threaded for you. And feels good to be doing my videos again on the ornaments. The holidays were crazy. We went out of town to meet our latest little grandbaby, and we were gone for 10 days, and then came back, and my husband and I both had like a little stomach bug, and but we jumped right back into babysitting our other youngest second from the youngest grandbaby, and it just, time got away from me, and I do apologize. But I'm back on track now, and I'll be having some pretty consistent ornaments. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get your second piece of felt, and you're going to line it up. Now what I do is I look at where I stamped, and the side that I stamped on, if you can find the ink and see that that's where you stamped, you're going to want to line them up facing the same way so that the image is perfectly matched, because they will be slightly different on pieces like this. In fact, most of them, especially if you use cookie cutters like I do, no way are the two sides going to be identical. So you definitely want to make sure they're facing the same way. Then you line them up. Now, if you're not using a die cutter and you're cutting them out like I am, they're never going to be perfect, because no matter how hard you try, you can't cut them out perfect. So, and then once you beat it, it pulls the felt up a little bit. So you have to work a little bit to keep it together. But you find a place that looks easy to start. I'll just go right here, and you're going to come through the middle. You're going to go down between the pieces and come out underneath the sequin. If there's a little tail, you can pull it out and cut it off like that, and just pull it down in there. Then what I do is I go from the back through the same area, and do make sure you do not go through the sequins, because if you do, you're going to pull a thread. The thread would come up through the sequin and go across the front. So if you find yourself doing that, pull it right back out. Now, to start this fringed edge that I do on these pieces, show you from the back. It looks really complicated, but let me tell you, it's not. You're going to pick up 3 seed beads. Let me put my glasses back on. Pick up 3 seed beads in your color of edging choice, and I picked for this another Cartwright lavender, and they're Cylon, and I always use an 11-0 seed bead. And I've had questions. I always use beading thread. Now I get mine on Amazon, and these are pretty big spools when you get them, and they came in a tube, 12 to a tube, and I bought a 3-tube package for $36. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but $1 roll is a very good price, and it was on Prime, so I got no shipping. But you can buy them in 12 packs if you don't care if you have every color or a couple duplicates. I also just found the big giant spools. They're 3 ounces, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they're huge. And I found out they have them in tons of colors. So I'll be buying a couple a month until I get all 13 or 14 colors. Because once I have those, That's like 20 years worth of thread. So, and I will happily use those for 20 years or more. But anyway, you're going to pick up 3 seed beads for this first stitch around the edge. So you're going to pick up 3 on your needle. And then you're going to pull them flat down onto here. And then you're going to go back through pretty close to where you were. You know, just a little, maybe a seed bead away. You're going to come in, and then the last one, and you can double check to make sure it's the last one when you pull it up, where the thread goes down into the, see? Thread goes down into, you're going to go back up through that seed bead right there. Hold on. Keep in mind I'm doing this standing over a camera. It's sometimes a little difficult. I've been out of frame too many times. I'm just going to stand over it so I can make sure I don't get out of frame all that much. It's inevitable. It's going to happen once in a while, but I really do try. Okay, once you get your initial triangle, now you only have to add 2 per stitch because it keeps that triangle going. Again, really close. And this may look tedious, but it actually goes really fast. And then you're going to go back through the back up through the last bead. And let me do a couple more for you to show you. And corners are not that big a deal. You just keep going right around the corner. And it doesn't always look perfect on the corners, but you know, you just do your best. Some of my corners come out really, really well. Let me pull that up close so I can show you as I pull it through. And see how it starts to make a nice edge. I'll show you some of my corners so you understand. See, sometimes the corners are not, this one's beaded on both sides because it's going in a car. It's for her car mirror, and that's difficult. I will not lie, I hate doing both sides because when you are tying off everything, you have to dig in between the sequin and the seed bead. I did this one for a car as well. And I will show you how to do that at some point, but it's hard to do, and I don't know if I can get it on camera really well. You just kind of have to dig in there and do it. But anyway, my corners aren't perfect. If you see, they don't always roll perfect. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Look at that one's not real good. And I've been doing this 30 years, so don't beat yourself up. So you're just going to keep putting 2 at a time. Now, if you want beads that are really precise, and you want them to be all the same size, which the ones from Cartwright aren't bad, but they're certainly not perfect, then you're going to want to go and get a good brand, and I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but I just call it Toho, which are these, the Toho beads. It's a Japanese brand, and it's, you can see it right there, Toho. They're really uniform. They're very good quality beads. And there's more expensive ones, but if you don't want to pay an arm and a leg, I think I paid $2 for this bag, and I have used some of it. It was a tube, actually, and I poured it in there. That's why that tag is so weird. Where you can see the one, well, you can see right here, the ones that I got from Cartwright, they're not real uniforms. Most of them are, but there's some that are way bigger, and there's some that are way smaller, but it really doesn't matter, especially if you're using them on the front of the piece. But you just keep doing that, adding the edge, until you get all the way around. I'll do one more for you. And just keep an eye that you don't go through the sequin. And they will catch too. And that's the other reason why I hate doing both sides. You talk about catching every single stitch. It catches on sequins. It is not fun. Okay, and you're just going to keep, you know what, I'll show you the corner real quick because I tell you about the corner. Let me show it to you since I'm almost there. So I'm going to go, and you're not going to hurt it when you push the sequin out of the way. If you've sewn it down nice and tight, it'll be fine. Now I'm on the corner, and I'm just going to keep going. Okay, on the corner, I'm just going to go right on the edge of the corner, like that. And then just the same thing, go right back up. There, and then you're turned to the next side. And when you have scalloped edges, they'll just show up as you go. You just follow it around and it'll show up as a scalloped edge as you go. And you just keep going up through that bead and just make sure you pull it tight. Keep an eye on your thread to make sure that you don't get caught up on the back. Now I used purple on purple just to show you how nice it is when you used a matched color. It does kind of blend in pretty good. Now I wanted to tell you, if you run out of thread while you're doing the edge, I'm going to pretend I ran out of thread. I'm going to show you what to do. I've never shown you this before. What I do is I make sure that I get into an open area that's easier to work in. Now I can do it in a tight area, but you're just going to go on the front where the sequins are. And you're just going to do a little loop around. You're just going to come through like this, and you're just going to loop a few times. And I can't believe I've never shown you this before, because every single ornament I do, if it's this busy, I'm going to have to do this at least once, unless I have an absolutely huge thread, and then that's a pain. And then you're going to go back through a couple different directions and just keep looping, looping, looping like this. And then, now just pretend I tied a knot. Well, I'll show you. I'll show you the whole step. I'm not going to pretend anything. Let me show you. So then you cut it, and then you tie a knot on a new piece of thread. So you get another big, and judging by how much is left, if you have a lot of intricate areas to go through, I urge you to use a longer thread and just be very slow and diligent, because it is harder to do this when you're like on one of these little delicate wings or arms, but it's not impossible. I do it all the time. I've done it on every one of these pretty much, because you never run out of thread in a good area. You always run out of thread, it seems. Okay, so you got the thread. Now you got to start back up. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back into this area that you just tied off on, and just going to come up like this, and then find that bead and go back up through it again, and make sure it tucks under. Whoop, see, it catches. Make sure it goes under, and you're back in business, and just keep going. And you can do that as many times as you need to. It will not affect the look of the edge at all. See? And I can't believe I've never shown you that. All right, so now you're done. All you've got is one stitch or two stitches left. How do you finish it off? I'm going to show you. Easy, easy, easy. Let me get, oh, I thought I got those. Oh, here they are. These are the ones I used for the hearts, the silver lined pink from Cartwright's. Now, I noticed that their silver lined tend to be a little bit more uniform than the Cylon. But you're going to get your two beads, and I think I have 2 stitches left. And so I'm going to come through, put a stitch, and then come up. Now I'm back, I'm down to my last stitch. Now for that last stitch, you only need 1 bead, because you've got 2 touching each other. So here, I don't know if you can see it really well, but there's the last bead I came through and the first bead. So you're just going to get 1 bead, and you're going to go through the very first bead you put on there, like that, and you're going to come out the back, and you're just going to do a little loop-de-loop. Now you can do this if you feel better, and you can also put a dab of glue when you're done if you want to. I have never glued one, and I've never had it come undone. Now if you don't like to have that showing real good, you can go a little closer, but I don't care. It's part of it being homemade. You can also, after you've tied the knot, you can also put a sequin on there. Come up, put a sequin, a seed bead, go down and do another little knot underneath and hide it. I've done that before. So then after you've done 2 or 3, go the other direction, and that'll tie. And I am not precise about this. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, you can absolutely put a dot of glue on there. I've never done it, and I've never had one come out. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do a loop. Now I kind of pre-started the loop without thinking, but what you do is you take a piece of thread, and you're going to go up underneath here and come out through a bead. So you're going to leave the knot underneath these sequins. Okay, and you're going to come up through a bead that's kind of in the middle. See, I come up right in there. Now, all you're going to do is you're going to string your beads. Let me get some beads to show you. These are my silver lined beads. And you can get these pretty much anywhere. I buy my beads and sequins so many different places. Oh, not sequins. Most of my sequins, if I don't buy vintage, I buy from Cartwright. It's just a one-place shop. You know, I can get anything I want there. And you're just going to simply, let me get this in camera. You're just going to sit here and you're just going to pick up beads. Now, I usually make the loop 6 inches long so that when I fold it in half and go back through, it will be 3-inch loop. And you're just going to do that. And you're going to keep adding and adding till you've got 6 inches. When you've got 6 inches, you're going to go back through the next bead. And you're going to come down. And you're going to do the loop-to-loop-to-loop thing again. Okay? Now I'm going to show you something new today. Because for the cars, this is what I've been doing. A little bit different. And it's kind of nice. And I thought I'd show you today. I've mentioned it. But I've never shown you. So basically for the first, let me thread this needle and then I'll be right there. The needle came off when I pulled it. I apologize for that. And this thread is, here I'm going to get a thicker needle. One that, the needles you can get different thicknesses. And some of them are just a little bit bigger eye than the other. You just kind of got to buy a couple of different beading needles and see what you like. Okay, now what I did is on this one, I did what I just showed you, except I went through this hole. And what I did is I went through it twice. I went through it and went around it and came back out. And so I wanted to show you how to do that, so I strung the other side. This is a magnetic clasp, it's catching on everything. That's how my needle came undone. See, I've already beaded it. Let me see if I can get this in frame, because I can't really pick this up easily. Okay, I've already strung the other side. See the magnetic? Now I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to go through. Oh, I guess I have 2 needles on there. How funny. I guess it didn't come off. Keeping it real, guys. Keeping it real. Okay. So that was for nothing. All right. So you're going to come through and, okay. And what I did is I'm telling you, the double ones are a pain. Okay. I go through one time. Then I come back through the hole one more time like this. And I make sure I do not catch any of the seed beads in that loop. And I pull it really tight. Now, the difference between this and the other loop is you're going to go back through the seed beads. So you're going to go right back through every one of those seed beads. It's not fun, but that's how you do the double loop. If you want to put a clasp or a hook, or you can put a toggle clasp, a lobster claw. I used to do lobster claw, but I like these new magnetics, especially for car mirrors, because you don't have to be as accurate. Man, those things work great. And don't worry if it's a little loose. You'll pull it tight when you get to the bottom. You're just going to keep going through, going through, going through, like this. And then I've just got a little bit more. And these are not very good quality beads, if you notice. They're very irregular. But it's the only ones I had in the color I wanted. Now I can get to show you how hard it is when I do the double sequin. Okay, so you're going to pull it tight. Now watch it as you do. Make sure that you're pulling that thread, see? Now pull it tight, and then you're going to look up here and make sure it looks nice and tight. And I like to keep the clasp closed so you can make sure it's fairly even. Now this is not a necklace, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Now this is how you have to sew it. You have to dig in there right between the sequins and the sequins and the edge. And just do that same loop-de-loop-de-loop that I showed you, like this. And just keep doing it, and doing it and doing it. And you're pulling these pretty tight, so you don't have to go a different direction, and it's really kind of hard to do so on here. And then what I'll do is I'll go down and kind of pull it through under the sequins. I'll kind of dig down and I'll kind of push it through like this, because I don't want the tail showing. And then I will lift up the sequins and just kind of cut the thread so it's hidden. And that's how you do a clasp if you want to have, but don't pull it by the beads when you open it. Do it that way, because you don't want to break it. Even beading thread, you could probably break if you were rough. So that is how you do these sequins, or do these angels. And I did not do a loop on this one yet, but I'll do it in the pink. But you could do it in the gold. And then this one here is a regular loop. And I'm just going to finish that in the same silver. And that'll be not anything on the back, and this one does not have. And I did this just to show you. I was going to do a pink back because I had this color pink here. But I wanted to show you that if you match the color of thread, it doesn't show. But if you want to see your stitches, just do a thread that's a different color, and you can see your little stitches. And when you're starting out, it's good to see your stitches. And you can see, I've been doing this 30 years, and my stitches are not bad, but they're certainly not perfect, because there's times you're digging through there and it's hard to get in there, and you might have longer stitches and shorter stitches. It's never going to be perfect. It's a handcraft. And I do want to tell you, when I go in between the wings, look, I put one bead on instead of two in tight areas. So here and here, I put 2, 3 single beads wherever it was tight. 1 to 3, depending on how tight it was. This one, I think I only put 1. And that's a good way to do tight areas, is just instead of doing your 2 beads, just do 1 and come right back up through it. And you can do that a couple of times in a tight area. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you enjoy these angels. And if you love this pattern, you can look online, because I think they still sell these. But if not, if enough people are interested, I will consider stamping some out and cutting them out for you and selling them at a very nominal price. I just got to figure out the shipping. Because if I can ship them in a regular envelope, then it won't cost anything. You know, it'll be like a stamp. I got to find out legalities of that. Can I do that? And if I can put them in an envelope, then I'd be able to make them and ship them for a very, very cheap price. Because I understand how frustrating it is to want to make something and you can't get that shape. So I will do my best. If enough people want it, I will. And even if people don't mention it, I'm going to try to do this on my videos. And if I can, then I'll put them in my Etsy shop. I'm also going to work on a clickable link for my Etsy shop, as I had a request for that. And I had a hard time doing that, but I'm going to try really hard to figure out how to do it. But this is my angel, and I have a couple other angels that I will be doing for you over the year. I have three angels that I do routinely, and then another one that I've cut out but I've never actually done that I'd like to do. So there will be some other angels as well that I think you'll enjoy. But thank you again for watching, and I've got a couple other videos I'm going to be doing for you this weekend to put out for you during the week. And I thank you so much, and I will be back soon. Bye.